chaotic, and it has changed my life. I'm a fan of his ever since. I love this collection. Of his most legendary supermodels and more. The four queens of the runway. Fashion, New York Fashion Week is right around the corner. Librarian tonight, and that's because I came to read a bitch. Jaja's Atelier, bitch. Happy holidays and welcome back to a brand new episode of Jaja's Atelier. Listen, y'all, I know it's been almost 2 weeks, but I have a lot to fill you in on. My Christmas was very quiet. I spent Christmas morning with my mom. And we three-way called my brother. We had curry chicken. We had rice and peas. It was really small, really quiet. I watched a lot of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which we're going to get into that in a little bit, by the way. Not Beverly Hills, but Potomac, definitely. Hi, Karen. God. And also, I have broken grounds on the house. Things are starting to move really, really quickly. So that's part of the reason why I didn't have enough time to really get on here. And on top of that, it's not a whole lot going on right now in the news or in fashion. It's a lot of, those little viral messy stories going on. But you guys know I don't like to talk about that all the time. I like to talk about stuff that really fucking matters. I might throw one of those shady stories in every now and then, but we don't have time for that all the time. So yeah, that's what I did. I'm really, guys, you should see my yard. It's so big and it's so beautiful. I cannot wait till the house. I'm not going to show the whole house until it is completely done. And hopefully I'll have most of everything done by my 35th birthday. So maybe I could have a little soiree 35th birthday / housewarming party. We'll see. And also, honey, work has been really busy. I know y'all don't miss that. Work has been really busy. And work has really got me thinking, like, it's crazy how some of these jobs treat us when we have to go to work. And, my mom is a really good example of just work for yourself. That's the best bet, is to work for yourself. The mental gaslighting, the mind games, the lies, the sowing of dissension that comes with going to a regular 9 to 5 it's just on a whole nother level. There's lack of communication at all of these jobs. People do not like when you're direct. People like to go this way, go that way, go down through Egypt, back up to Thailand, through Asia, just to make their point. And it's just like, oh my God. It's emotionally draining having to work a job where the atmosphere is not what it needs to be. And that's happening all over the country and all over the world, probably. But yeah, so things have really been moving for me. I'm bear with me, y'all. Now listen, don't be too mad because I gave y'all 3 episodes in 1 week. I gave y'all a month's worth of episodes in 1 week now. Bear with me. And also, I'm getting a lot of new subscribers. We went from 106 to 127, I believe. So the views are going up. Help the Atelier go viral, honey. We're trying to make some money, honey. Come on, help the doll out. Anyway, so listen, we have to get into what everybody is talking about this week, and that is Beyoncé shutting down NRG Stadium for the Houston Texans halftime show game on Christmas Day. It was the first time that she performed any of the songs from Cowboy Carter. So everybody was, chomping at the bits to see. Let me tell y'all something. Beyoncé is the greatest living performer of our time. Dare I say, she might have surpassed Michael Jackson by now. Especially with her influence. Beyoncé could come out on Instagram at 12 o'clock tonight and say, I want all my beehive to wear yellow tomorrow. And every last one of y'all will have on yellow at your job, at the house, while you're at the laundromat, if you got to go grocery shop, y'all bitches will all have on yellow. Her influence across the world is unmatched. Her ability to tune out all the noise with all that's going on in the world right now, with all the unwanted attention that her family is getting right now, for her to be able to tune all that out and still put on this massive cultural shifting performance speaks volumes. Let's talk about what I liked most. Let's get into the fashion first, honey. So the coat that is seen right here, which I am obsessed with, is by Roberto Cavalli. But the Rodeo Wrangleman jumpsuit is actually a custom Lindsay James show clothing look. Now, Lindsay James is famous for her Western wear and things like that. So this was a huge, huge moment for her. So huge congratulations to her. She is, Beyonce is styled by her longtime stylist. I can never get her name right. Let me make sure I get it right. Shiana Cherini. Is just one of her longtime stylists. My favorite moment of the whole thing, I love that she brought Blue Ivy out. Blue Ivy is looking like a little woman, honey. She is drop dead gorgeous. A lot of people say she looks like Jay-Z. I really think she looks like Solange. She looks more like Solange than, what's the nephew's name? I can't, Jules. She looks more like Solange and Jules to me than she does Beyonce and Jay-Z. I definitely see a little Jay-Z in there, but it's definitely giving auntie and cousin vibes in the face. I love that she brought her daughter out and she did a great job dancing behind her mom. But my favorite moment has got to be Beyonce coming out, getting off the horse, and the first guess that she has is all the black girls in country music that were featured on the album for the song Blackbird and singing it, and they were all in white. I mean, they looked like these just beautiful black angels. I loved it. The women alongside her, Tanner Adele, Brittany Spencer, Raina Roberts, who I am a huge fan of, and also Tiara Kennedy, who I'm not really familiar with, but watching her and seeing those girls, it made me go on YouTube and see what they're about, and all of them, all four of them are so talented. This moment right here really brought, it was a real tearjerker, because in my lifetime, the closest I think I've seen of a black country music star performing, you know what, I take that back. I've never seen a black artist dominate country and perform at such a big level in my lifetime. I've never seen it. I think the closest I might have seen to a black country star is who's the one that sings oh my god, that country guy, he just redid it. Oh god, her name just left from me. And the guy from Hootie and the Blowfish. Those are the only two I can really think of in my lifetime. Now, there are some before that, but between the 90s and now, I can only think of those two. And I can't even think of their names offhand. I love that she paid homage also to the early Juneteenth parades in the let me look at my notes, honey. Let me look at my notes. She also paid homage to the early Juneteenth parades held in Emancipation Park in the 3rd Ward of Houston with the white floral carriage stage. This is what they used to do back in the day. I love that. It did not come without hate. Martina McBride allegedly shut it completely down. Let me tell y'all white folks something that have a problem with this. I'm going to tell you why Child, I'm about to light me a cigarette, honey. I'm going to tell y'all why. A lot of y'all white people have a problem with this. It's because now the truth is being out. The truth is being revealed. That this whole cowboy, shoot 'em up, bang, bang, Western culture was stolen from us. And Beyonce showed that through the imagery, through even the people that she had on. Never mind just the four black country music female artists. She also had the special guests included Miss Rodeo, Texas, 2015 Nikki Woodward, and the first black rodeo queen in Arkansas, Jadea Kirsch. I mean, this is why y'all don't like it. You don't like it because you know this part of American culture was hijacked from black people. And there's this want to just cover up the truth. You guys are culture vultures. It is what it is. Another point that I would like to make and point out, whatever. I hit the reefer before I got on. You know, it's been a stressful couple of weeks. It's a lot of change going on in here. Excuse me for stuttering. Y'all know I have a lisp. Anyway, I haven't been on camera in a while. Sorry. Also, you know, a couple months ago, the CMA Awards, you know, the CMAs held their awards. They completely shut Beyonce out, didn't nominate her for a goddamn thing, which is what we all expected after seeing her perform with the Dixie Chicks years prior to her, you know, debuting a country album. But you know, karma is a motherfucker because Beyonce ranked in 27 million views for her almost 20-minute performance during the halftime show. And the highest amount of viewers that the CMAs have ever received was back in 2017 with a reported 14 million viewers. Now that's 14 million viewers waiting to see several country music artists. This is 27 million people coming to see one black woman in a cowboy hat. The older I get and the more time goes on, the more I'm realizing how evil and narcissistic a lot of people in this world are. There was even a girl online saying, oh, well, she didn't have any white dancers. When is it okay for it not to be about y'all for a minute? When can it be something positive about us and it doesn't involve y'all and y'all don't get offended? When can we have that moment? Y'all did it with Obama. Y'all have been doing it with Beyonce for years. Even comparing her to people who couldn't even sing two notes in her direction. Hey, Taylor Swift. When are y'all going to have enough? It's not always about you, white people. It's not always about you. White people, and it's not all white people, but there is a large group of white people who feel like these niggers can't do anything without us. No, the truth is, you red bellies can't do shit without us. Not even build the White House. I saw it at the day after Christmas. It was all, oh, how dare she? Bitch, fuck yous. She is the greatest living performer of all time. Her talent spans over generations and genres. Okay? They call her the queen for a reason. And then we had some of our own pointing out the allegations and the rumors. And this performance, hands down, solidifies the fact that black people most certainly belong in country. Maybe y'all are the ones that don't belong in country. Ooh, hit a nerve. It's like everything we do. It's the white people get mad when it don't involve them. Jesus Christ. Ooh, I gotta light a cigarette. She also brought out Shabuzi, which I did not realize. Let me tell y'all something. Shabuzi is fine, honey. I didn't even realize how fine he was. I'm not crazy about country music. You know, I used to have a thing for LeAnn Rimes back in the day when she first came out with that blue. You know, I like a little Reba. You know, I love me some Shania Twain. Ow, I feel like a woman. And, you know, we all love Faith Hill and the Dixie Chicks. So there are some country artists that I like that just came up in the 90s and you just couldn't go anywhere without hearing their music. But for the most part, I'm not crazy about country music. So I don't really pay attention that much. But honey, after I saw the performance, I saw how tall he was. I said, So I went on his Instagram and he is really, really handsome and very unique. You know, you don't expect that kind of voice to come out of that mouth, to come out of somebody that looks like that. And it's refreshing. I think listen, she has set the tone. She has kicked the door down. She's not doing this for her. She's doing this for the people that are coming behind her that want a seat at the country music table that their ancestors created. So miss me with all the hate and shit, please. Especially you black folk. It's ridiculous. She shut it down. She also brought out Post Malone. I like the cute little moment they had at the end of Post Malone's stint on the field with Beyoncé. You know, because she was dancing all sexy, but you know, that's a married woman, honey. And he looked at her, he backed up, he said, yes, ma'am. Okay? I like that. Let me light this cigarette, honey. I have the window open. Calm down. So yeah, I thought it was an amazing performance. It will go down in history. This is the first time we have seen black country music at this level, at this magnitude. And she gave as many up-and-coming black country music artists a seat at this table and a moment within her moment. And I really, really love that. So shout out to Beyonce. Bounce on this shit. Dance, dance. Yes, honey. Anyway, so let's go on to the next story. So I was strolling on, looking for some stories. Y'all didn't send me nothing this week. I don't know. Y'all said that bitch ain't coming back on camera for a while. Fuck that bitch. Y'all know I'm always coming back. I'm not always here when you call, but I'm always on time. Listen, so I came across this, hold on, let me pull up on my tablet here. I came across this video on Instagram by Al Moroccan Consulate, and they were talking about classism within the black community. Let's take a listen.
I'll say this. This is another reason why, and people are really going to dislike me saying this, I'm starting to lean toward class being a bigger issue than race. When I say that, I don't mean a more sinister issue. Race and racism and sexism are the most sinister demons in America by far. But class penetrates even inside of intraracial bonds. There is a gigantic problem with classism and class power within black people. And the more money that I'm starting to see get thrown into the black community, the more we're starting to see this push-pull between the haves and have-nots that threatens our ability to coalition build inside of Black America. Like, to me, I see Black people that are choosing privilege, money, and power over their Blackness every day.
So let's get into it. Listen, I talk about this all the time. When I was coming up in my 20s, we really did not give a fuck what kind of car each other had. We didn't give a fuck what you had on, like talking about. We didn't care where we went out to eat at. We didn't care where we went to go. We just wanted to have a good fucking time. We wanted positive people around us. We wanted good energy. We wanted good Henny, good Henrico. We wanted good reefer. You know, some of us wanted good other stuff. And we wanted good sex, good music, and good atmosphere. Now, with social media and influencing and all of that, and everything being at your fingertips, and everybody, there's this growing spirit of wanting to showboat. We have to put it out there. We have to, I make $30,000, $300,000 a year. If you can't afford to go on vacation, honey, then you just don't need to be hanging out with me. Oh, honey, a $500 lunch. Oh, that's nothing to a boss, honey. I'm a boss standing on big business. It's all of that. And listen, there's nothing wrong with praising yourself, speaking wealth into your life. It's nothing wrong with that. But when that comes along with using that as a weapon to push the head of your brethren down, that's when it becomes a problem. That develops into, like he said, wanting privilege, wanting power. And usually people that want privilege and power don't want to see it for much of anybody else. Which is why some of us went down there and voted for the big orange machine. Or Elon Musk. I think with the incoming administration, I think we really need to let this go. These 50-50 conversations about what a man is supposed to do and what a woman is supposed to do and the money and, if you ain't driving a Benz, all of that, it's not real. It's not real. People are really out here. The majority of Americans are out here trying to survive. The majority of African Americans are really out here trying to survive. We need to be spreading knowledge. We need to be showing each other grace. We need to be hard on each other when needed be. Tough love needs to be shown when needed be. But all this, I'm better than you because I make a couple more dollars than you, honey. Again, if you have to get out of your bed, get dressed, pack your lunch, get in your car, and clock in to make money for another motherfucker, I don't give a fuck if you're making $50 an hour. Bitch, you ain't got no money. Not in this country. Especially not if you's a nigga. Because when all of this dust settles and all of these tariffs hit, a lot of y'all are going to feel bamboozled, dicked around, and hoodwinked when you have to go and come up with $35 for some Tide laundry detergent. When you have to pay, $13 for a pineapple. When jobs begin to let you go. DEI. When the job becomes so unbearable because they can't legally fire you, that they make it so unbearable that you just end up quitting your job. None of that $50 an hour, that $30 an hour, that $25 an hour, it's not gonna mean a motherfucking thing. Those bags that you buy, those outlet mall trips, those $400 dinners, it's not going to amount to a hill of beans. Especially not, again, if you's a nigga. I think it's time, and that's why I said in the beginning of the show, it's just some stuff that I don't want to talk about. You know, I find it amusing. I find it funny. Like this whole Dwight Howard and Royce Reed going back and forth. I was going to talk about it, but I'm like, what the fuck? That it's funny. It's a key, but it's not important. So I'm not going to waste my airtime talking about it. It's like we really need to band together. Like, and it sounds weak. It sounds corny, but I'm looking at things online. There was a guy from Alaska who was talking about how Trump's not even in office yet, but the tariffs have already begun because he lives in Alaska. And everything has to be helicoptered in from what he said, and he goes into the Whole Foods and a 16 pack of Pepsi or Coke is $16 at Whole Foods. Laundry detergent, $25. I fear that we're going to be getting to a space where we're going to have to start harvesting our own food. How much money you make an hour, it's not going to matter if you don't have a green thumb, sweetheart. Like, let's talk about the shit that really matters. My foot is itching. Let's talk about the shit that really fucking matters. I don't give a fuck how much you pay for that Birkin. I don't give a fuck how much you pay for your Balenciagas. Yeah, all that stuff is cute. It's cute. It's cute. But is it going to keep you warm if you live in Michigan, Wisconsin, and New York State when Trump, these tariffs hit and Canada cuts off your electricity? Are the memories of that $500 dinner that you had last year that you got online and bragged about? Are those memories gonna keep your stomach full? Well, in the words of Kimberly Elise in Diary of a Mad Black Woman, I guess you better go out into the garden and plant yourself something to eat. Like, let's get real. The classism within the black community is the oddest thing to me. Especially when we cry out that we are, not just cry out, it's the truth, that we are the most disenfranchised, disliked, disrespected group of people in this country. And you're going to talk shit to me because I work at McDonald's? Are you kidding me? You're going to talk shit to me because I work at Home Depot? You're going to clown me because I can't afford a $1,500 outfit to come out to the club with you? It's got to stop. And it's going to stop sooner than a lot of us think. It ain't going to have no choice but to stop. I do see a lot of us banding together. Like me and Adrian, we talk like, you know, his family, they grow things, and it's like, hey, do you want some of these potatoes? I'm like, hell yeah. You know, we're already like, well, let's get ready because shit about to get real. Shit is about to get real, honey. It's about to get real out here, girl. Open your eyes, girl. Open up. Close your ears and open your eyes, girl. It's getting real out here. So again, I do see a lot of, like, my mom, she's over a particular age, so she gets, she gets to go to the food banks and we pick out what we want. And I'll call Adrian like, hey, you want some of these tortillas? We got 16 packs of tortillas over here. Do you want, like, humble, calm down, humble yourselves. Humble yourselves and get real. And salute to those who are on social media spreading good information, giving us home remedies for colds, giving us home remedies, different ways to get your teeth clean, using cloves to clean your teeth, and different ways to clear up skin, and different ways on how to plant watermelons and tomatoes. Like, big ups to those people. I'm going to have a list of those. I forgot to do it before I did the show, but next show, we're definitely going to get into this a little deeper, and I'm going to have a list of people that I follow, a list of young Black people, agriculturalists, that are really out here spreading real gems that are going to help us survive in what's to come. Anyway, so I came across this old video, this old interview of Azalea Banks. And she was talking about, how fashion and labels can sometimes hurt an artist. And I found it really interesting because I disagreed at first until I listened to the whole thing. Take a look here.
Too much fashion attention as an artist can actually smother you, and it can actually really, really distract from your music, And I kind of almost got there with it, you know what I mean? Where it was just like fashion, 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 fashion. And I was like this fashion darling, and everyone had, I was putting out records, and the only record that anyone would listen to was 212. And that was the only Azalea Banks record that anyone knew, So, I think that fashion and style is one thing, but I definitely think branding can really hurt you as an artist if it's not, especially if it's not like real, if it's not something that you really like I really like Alexander Wang, and like I really shop at ASOS, so it makes sense, you know what I mean? But you can very easily kind of get sucked up by the fashion world, because they kind of they bring artists in to kind of make themselves look a certain way, and then as soon as someone new comes up, they've completely forgotten about you. They're so fickle. They've completely forgotten about you, and they've completely disregarded you, you know what I mean? And if you place your faith in the fashion world, you will get let down as an artist. You absolutely will get let down. So it's very, very, very important to remember what you're here for.
Wow. If I had to guess what year that was, I would say somewhere in between 2014 and maybe 2017, maybe even earlier than that, because she doesn't seem, Azalea Banks has been in the news for saying some crazy stuff, and she has been through some things, but this looks like it was way before all of that. I haven't seen her this even keeled and calm in a long time. But I disagree with this at first, because when I think of artists back in the day like Little Kim and Foxy Brown with Dior, and Little Kim with Versace, and J-Lo had on. But when I really sat down and thought about it, I was like, well, those were just moments. And those women made the moment. And when I really even thought about it further, I was like, well, damn, the artists, when I was coming up, would make the brands. We wouldn't know what they were wearing. I just found out that Beyoncé was wearing Versace in the Crazy in Love video. I didn't know that at the time. We didn't care. We wanted to see if Beyonce had it on. I don't give a fuck if it was Oshkosh Bigosh. If Beyonce had it on, we was rocking it. We didn't give a fuck what it was. And then there was this slow shift into social media that merged fashion and artists in a different kind of way, to where, okay, if you got a hot song, you're of the moment, TikTok came along, and then there's these TikTok musical artists, and their whole being is surrounded by fashion, and it's so, like Azalea said, they're so sucked into the brand that you forget about them in 15 minutes. It's kind of like that girl Bia. She's The main example I could think of, Bia came out, it's a whole lot of money in this motherfucker. And I remember people were talking about her and like, oh, and then Nicki Minaj jumped on the track and she was over in Milan with, oh God, what is his name? Philip Klein. And she was on the runways, and it was like, oh, I'm wearing this, and at the Bottega Veneta, and you know, she was, and then where is she now? It's a lot of that happening now, which leads me into my next video. Take a look at this.
I think influencers are going to have the same fate as 90s supermodels. This is a prediction. It could be wrong or right, but based on the documentary I just watched on Apple, it was almost eerie how similar the rise and fall of the supermodel was to what influencers are experiencing right now. And it was kind of interesting to see how society really built these women up and became obsessed with them. They were a phenomenon. Like, they were on every runway. They were on magazines, TV, you name it. And everyone was loving it until they started making real money. Linda Evangelista, she said to this day she regrets saying that she wouldn't get out of bed for less than $10,000 because of the way they ate her up over it. And what was so interesting was that she was justifying it back then by saying it is all advertising. And if you were to look at the balance sheets for some of these advertising budgets, her cut as a model doesn't even compare to the overall budget for the campaign or the profits that the brands at the time were seeing. But people didn't care about any of that, of course. They just cared about the fact that these girls were entitled, which is very familiar, or that they thought too highly of themselves, and they were making way too much money for what they were doing. All of which is very familiar to the way people see influencers now. And what really marked the end of the supermodel era was the ushering in of grunge and anti-capitalism and anti-supermodel culture. So people didn't want to wear labels. They didn't want to wear fancy outfits. They wanted to dress down. They wanted to look more like Kurt Cobain and Nirvana and those types of guys, as a direct rejection of the glamour of the supermodel era. And I feel like with this recession that's coming, or basically is already here, we're going to see the same type of thing. Actually, people are already kind of doing it.
It's crazy how this one video tied the last two stories all together. Because, and I'm going to tell you why. I look at so many of these young music artists and they rarely talk about the music. It's never about the music. It's never, ever, ever about the music. And yes, she was talking about fashion and, you know, influencing, but and you know, the end of, you know, people, you know, indulging in capitalism. But isn't it crazy how it goes all the way across the board? Now, instead of these artists, going back to the Azalea Banks thing, instead of these artists talking about their music and showcasing their talent in a real raw way, they're being backed by major fashion brands. They're getting endorsement deals. They're, you know, doing things for clout online. Everything is about how much money they got, what they're wearing, what kind of house they live in, what kind of cars they drive. And I saw that growing up. We had MTV Cribs and all of that, but it's a whole nother level now. It's a whole nother animal now. And I think combining this last video and the Azalea Banks video and the video before that from AI Moroccan, greed and capitalism, it's across the board in entertainment, in life, in everything. And I think what's going to start to happen, just like how the supermodel era ended, because I was alive for that, I remember that vividly. What's going to start to happen is people, like she said, people are already starting to do it. Not wearing labels. Why do you think so many of the fashion brands are ditching the logo tees? And look at Bottega Veneta. Even though their shit is still insanely expensive, everybody is clamoring for it because it looks as if, you know, I'm not trying to do too much. Quiet luxury. how all these corporations, fashion, music, movies, television, streaming, all capitalize off of what we're going through. And we're sitting up here bragging about what we got, bragging about our labels, when they're all kind of like sucking us dry. I love the fashion industry. I love Versace and I love Givenchy and I love, we love all of that stuff. But there's going to come a time when, and it has come a time when we got to kind of have to put that stuff to the side and get real. I want to see real talent. I want to hear real music. I want to see real fashions. I want to see, one of my old sayings when I first started this show was, I see what everybody can do with a lot of money. Let me see what you could do with nothing. Let me see what kind of editorial photo shoot you can come up with $35. Those Project Runway days. That's what I want to see. Anyway, I have one more story, y'all. And I know I'm late on this. But I got to light a cigarette. Honey, the Grandom of Potomac, honey, has been grand damned. So, a couple of weeks ago, Karen Huger, star of Real Housewife of Potomac, she has been in court battling this DUI case, honey. And she was found guilty. Now, after being found guilty, which I don't like this. Karen, I'm standing up for you when it comes to this right here. After she was found guilty, hours later, they released the body cam footage. Take a look.
No, this is such a fucking irritant. Poor white will just let that shit go out. You want to I wouldn't do it. I will rise up. I am who I am. So we want to ask me. Can we? I don't give a fuck. You want that by people?
I'm not asking you.
Do you want that by people?
Karen, I'm not asking you.
No, I'm really rich, and I will stay in jail for a year or two.
Karen, no, not the
Just
Grandom. Potomac, honey. All right, here's another one with her sitting in the car.
You don't necessarily.
What's your name?
My name's Kyle.
I'm Karen. Thank you. They call me the Grandom.
The Grandom?
I don't know what the fuck that's about. And they coined that. Go ahead.
The what?
And they coined that. They call me the Grandom. I'm black, I'm rich, and I own the plantation of farm.
All right, that's all I'm gonna give you because I'm not gonna show too much of it because here's what I don't like about this. Y'all have sat on this video footage for months. I believe this happened back in March. Oh, let me ask Google. Google. Hey Google. Hey Google. Oh, Google's not talking to me right now. But I think it happened back in March. Or maybe, yeah, I think it happened back in March. She crashed her Aston Martin on the way home from a restaurant or something. Where is Justin Timberlake's body cam footage when he got his DUI? Now, granted, Karen, yeah, you did put yourself in this situation. People in Potomac and who watch Bravo have been talking about your drinking for years. This is not her first DUI, I don't believe. Okay. But what does mainstream media get out of turning our pain into profit? Like, this is really embarrassing. Y'all didn't have to do her like this. I get it. She's a housewife. She's just a reality star. This is what she signed up for. To be humiliated. Now, y'all know that lady's wig was pushed all the way back. Hun, that wig said, listen, I don't want to go to jail. Y'all did not have to do her like that. I thought that was really distasteful. I thought it was fucked up. And I know I just showed it over here because Karen, it is funny, Karen. But I don't think they should have showed the body cam footage. We know, we've seen Karen Huger on The Real Housewives of Potomac, inebriated on television for millions of people to see before. We didn't have to see that black woman with her wig pushed back like that. Y'all will take any piece of humiliation that you could bestow on a black woman. Mainstream media will take that and run with it. I saw this. I have yet to see Justin Timberlake's body cam footage when he got pulled over for a DUI. I would love to see that. But Karen, and then, you know, here's the thing, right, with these reality stars. My mom said this to me the other day. You know, America loves to build you up to tear you down. And that's what they have done with these reality TV stars, especially these housewives, time and time and time again. And there's a part of it, too, that you have to look at them kind of sideways, because it's like, girl, you sit up on reality TV and you brag about, I'm the Grandom, honey, of Potomac. All of these women are beneath me. Off with their head. Girl, you can't afford a driver, Karen. Karen. Grandom. You can't afford a driver, girl. Oh! Get you a driver, girl. I bet you one set of housewives you won't see with a DUI, and that's those Beverly Hills housewives, honey, because they have a driver everywhere they go. Honey, I seen one episode, and Dorit lived around the corner from Kyle, and she took a car. Around the corner. I feel really bad for her. I don't think she should return to the Real Housewives of Potomac for a little while. I think she needs to have a season out, because the girls, Giselle and them, are going to rip. They're already ripping her a new one on this season, which is falling kind of flat, by the way. I don't know who these other new girls are, but they are nobodies, honey. I don't know who the hell they are. Especially that one with the football player. I can't even think of her name. But, honey, he has slung dick all around you. And you are just playing, but I love my man. Girl. But yeah, I think Karen should sit out next season. I don't want to see Karen on The Real Housewives of Potomac. I want to see Karen get herself together and come back and shit on those hoes. Come back looking better than ever. Return to your throne, honey. Get you a house in Potomac. And, and return as the Grandom that you am. You know, every housewife needs a season off or two. That's one thing I used to like about Atlanta. They would rotate the girls sometimes. Like, Sheree wouldn't always be on, but they would rotate her. They would rotate Marlo. They would rotate Nene towards the end. You know, they would rotate the girls. I think every housewife deserves a season or two off. And for God's sake, speaking of housewives that need a season off, girl, Kyle Richards, Andy Cohen, let that... Girl, Kyle Richards needs a sixth season. Honey, I've been watching old episodes of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, honey. Y'all have been dragging Kyle for years. Kyle needs a season off. And so does Dorit. Honey, because it's not looking good around the eyes. It's looking like day old spoiled milk, girl. Anyway, Karen, I think you need to take a season off. That wig, honey, that wig. Oh my God. Did she still have the wig cap on underneath? Because it was all scalp to the middle. Anyway, y'all, I hope everybody has a happy New Year. I'm not even going to tell y'all that I'm going to get back on here before New Year's. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. But I ain't going to promise something that I can't deliver on. Because I've got a couple of comments and I'm listening. I'm hearing you. But I need you to be patient with the doll, honey. I'm giving you the best that I've got. Okay? But listen, I will be back right after New Year's. If not before, excuse me, my lisp. Until then, ciao.